using an SD card in the DJI RC. Is there really any need for it? Here's 5 reasons why I think you should use an SD card in the DJI RC. Let's do this. So hello, welcome once again on the channel on this very fine week here in the UK. So using the DJI RC and using a mini or micro SD card. What is it for? Why should you be using it? Well, I'm going to give you 5 good reasons why you should be using an SD card like this one just here in the DJI RC. Which card should you buy? Well, that's entirely up to you, but I do recommend the Extreme card made by SanDisk. This is a 64 gigabyte one. I'll just show you that. And if you don't already know, some of you won't, there's a slot under this little flap just here, and that's where the SD card fits in, and you have it facing the screen, and you basically just slot it in. Now, unless you've got good fingernails, I find this absolute useless screwdriver that DJI supply for changing props a good tool just to give it a little press and wait for that click, and then once it's clicked, it's in place. That's how to install it. Why should you install it? Why should you use it? The first reason number 1, screen recording. So on the DJI RC, as some of you may know, you can do screen recordings of your flights, and to access the screen recording function, all you need to do is pull down twice from the top, and that will give you this screen just here. Okay, and there's an icon on the screen, as you can see just here, and by tapping that screen record icon, you'll get a notification, as you just heard there, and you can see on screen now that there is a recording logo, and that shows you just how long that recording is going on for, the duration of it, and you can stop it by pressing the stop button just there. Basically, that is now recording every activity that you select on screen. If you're going to camera view, for instance, the aircraft's not connected, obviously I'm just showing you the RC on screen, but you can hit the 3 dots and you can go into your control, camera, transmission and about tabs even while the drone is not connected. However, looking at this little clip that I did quite a few years ago now on the Mini 2 when I was screen recording using the phone, if I hadn't been screen recording at the time, I wouldn't have had the footage that I had that I could supply to DJI when I had all that problems with the Mini 2, and I ended up sending that footage and obviously the flight logs. Yes, you can use your flight logs to get these data off the drone and see exactly what was going off, but I think by using the screen recording, it's a good visual check as to what's going on in your flights. So that's tip number 1, is to use your screen recording for doing every flight. Every flight that I do, I always hit the screen recording. Now, as a content creator, I can put audio as well into the DJI RC and record onto that device using the DJI microphone that I use now. This has got a USB-C adapter. What we can do is we can lift that flap, and at the side of the SD card slot there is the USB host. Once we plug the DJI mic into that will now initiate recording on the DJI mic onto your screen recording. So how do we know it's recording? If we just swipe down once, you should see an icon just here, and that will tell you that the microphone is connected and it is recording. You also have volume and brightness selection on the DJI RC, which is quite handy as well. So that's screen recording. on the DJI RC using any USB mic that will work with this. I used to use the Rode microphone when I was out on sites. I did a video about connecting the Rode wireless kit to the DJI RC. If you've not seen that video and you want to find out, that will be up there. There'll be a video link to that video if you've not seen it and you want to check it out. You do need certain adapters for it to work on the Rode wireless mic, but with the DJI microphone, it recognizes it straight away with it being their product. Really good feature is to use that screen recording. So the next tip, by using an SD card, that will expand the memory of this device. It's got a very small memory, but by using the SD card in the DJI RC, that will expand that memory to whatever size SD card you're using. One thing about screen resolution recordings for the DJI RC, it is a low resolution. When these first came out, it was 720p, but due to a firmware upgrade a couple of months ago, it now shoots in a 960 by 540. So it's almost 1080p, but not quite. So it is a low resolution on the screen recordings. However, it is useful for evidence, like I've just said, as you saw in that clip earlier. One other thing to remember is if you're using the SD card for the first time, it will come up just down here and it will ask you to format it. And it's quite a simple process. You can just go in and format, or you can actually format the card through the little settings icon just there. And you can look into storage, and you can look down at your portable storage for Android just there, and you can eject it, and you can also format it just there. If you can see on screen, there's a little format icon just there. So that's another way to format the card if you want to start all over again. So how to get the footage or screen recording off the SD card, insert it into a PC or a Mac. You can see here I'm using a Mac. We open the drive and we go into the movies folder, and that will then bring up all your screen recordings on the card. And you can see here I've got quite a few, grouping them into specific order to find the one that you're looking for. Let's just say this one, and all you literally do is drag and drop anywhere you like onto your desktop or into a location. It's as simple as that. So another quick tip about the DJI RC and the micro SD slot. If you're not doing content creating and you don't want to use the screen recordings, then what you can actually do is use that micro SD slot just there, pop an SD card in there of whatever choice you want, and you can use it as a spare. So if your drone happens to run out of storage space, you've got one safely stored away in the slot available should you need to use it. Another tip for you before we go, just on the DJI RC, just a quick tip. If you're using a lanyard like I do and it's hanging on your chest when you're busy doing something else, if you don't want to catch anything on screen, if you just hit the power button once, that screen will go black, the LEDs will flash, and that will be in what's called standby mode. That will save a little bit of your battery while you're out on flight, and also it will stop you from touching any controls on screen, and likewise whilst you're flying and recording. So to bring it back on, just press the power button once and up she pops once again. Just another tip for you there whilst using the DJI RC. So there we go, just a few tips for you on the DJI RC and why, in my opinion, you should be using an SD card in this device every time when you go out, for how little file length it takes to record that screen recording. It's well worth evidence, even if you just store it onto an SD card or a USB or a hard drive for future reference. Always worth it. Like I said earlier in the video, there was that time with the Mini 2 where it just went to absolutely haywire. I'll leave a link to that video up there if anybody hasn't seen it and you want to see exactly what happened and how I dealt with DJI about the claim and how they replaced it for free. So there you go. Hope you found the video useful. You got something out of it. If you did, don't forget, give us the old thumbs up. And if you're new around here, why don't you consider subscribing, dinging the dong, and all the rest of it that goes with it. And we will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.